ICQ Podcast episode 269, Talking Youth at Ham Radio 2018.
Well, hi guys, and welcome to episode 269 of the ICQ Podcast. This one's a special episode recorded in Friedrichshafen 2018. And the theme of Friedrichshafen 2018 this year was radio scouting. Our first interview is with the Radio Scouts.
So we're here at Ham Radio 2018 at Friedrichshafen, joined by Remco. Remco, your call sign is PE1MEW. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, I know that. I don't know yours, actually.
Mine is M0TJ. My name's Chris. I'm M0TCH. So I understand you're involved in organising some of the events here at the event in regard to radio scouting.
Yeah, I'm a project leader for this project for us. We've been involved into the radio scouting activity since 2012, and this year we have a really big event, and we've put something nice here.
And the theme this year, I believe, for the whole event now is radio scouting. So obviously that's something that's been branded as part of the event. That's obviously a big thing for the Scouts and for radio. So what's that connection between our hobby and the Scouting movements?
Well, the connection for both our organizations actually is that Radio Scouts and Scouting need amateur radio for getting on the air, during Jamboree on the air. And on the other side, for amateur radio, Scouting is a huge important now.
In terms of recruiting people or people to the hobby? Or
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity for amateur radios to get involved with scouting, because so many youngsters are then involved in Jamboree on the air, Jamboree on the internet, and on big scouting camps where amateur radio is active. And the Amateur Radio Association or Society is aging, yes. And access to youngsters and offering activities and get them interested in technology and in specific into amateur radio is quite interesting.
So it's pretty promoting the hobby into that younger audience and trying to get them involved and maybe even taking up the hobby later on.
Yeah, and that's happening for practice, because if you look into the Netherlands, where every year approximately 300-400 new radio amateurs come to it, I can say that 25% of them has become radio amateur and have been done their license through scouting.
Yes, that's a fantastic percentage, isn't it? That's a real big percentage of the people then coming through directly through the Scouts. So what events? So obviously this weekend, I've seen outside we've got various events happening here in the auditorium or in the big hall here. What things are going on this weekend?
Well, this weekend we offer a lot of activities. We have invited scouts to our booth here at Ham Radio, and we offer them a half-day program with radio scouting activities, technology activities. At the same time, we show to the visitors of Ham Radio what you can offer to scouts, to youngsters in general, to get them attracted and interested in technology and into amateur radio. So that's one thing that we do here. And the other thing is that we have a couple of presentations on particular subjects, for example, on how to deliver a radio of electronics to scouts, to youngsters, and about the World Scout movement, which we are a member of.
That's fantastic. So it sounds like a really worthwhile exercise, and say two things: directed to the Scouts themselves and also involving amateurs and bringing them together. So that's really, really good.
Yeah, and Ham Radio is the opportunity to go out and do some networking, get people together. For example, here on the booth, there has been made a plan for Candlestick International Scout Center, where an American scout that lives in Switzerland is going over to there, and he's a radio amateur, and he's going to deliver amateur radio to the Candlestick International Scout Center. And those opportunities happen here, and they are here made.
So it's a great networking opportunity here.
Definitely.
Remco, thank you for your time. I wish you all the best, and I hope it'll be successful for you this weekend.
Thank you very much for letting me tell it.
That's great. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, bye.
Well, while out in Friedrichshafen, the guys managed to catch up with Mike Jones. Mike Jones is the RSGB Youth chairman, and he was talking about the success of IOTA 2017 and how much fun they all had. Now, in fairness, we at the ICQ podcast covered the event in August of 2017, and if you're interested in going back and listening to it again, It's episode 245. So, with more ado, let's hear what Mike has to say.
Hi, I'm here with Mike Jones, 2E0 Mike Lima Juliet from the UK Youth Committee side, the chairman there, and obviously the organising of the UK part of JOTA. A wonderful, successful event. I know we were with you guys earlier on at the start of the event as well. Really the legacy for the UK hosting the event, and really what you see as the benefit of hosting such an event.
Yeah, first of all, absolute honour from the ILU to be able to host the event. It's a one-in-a-lifetime event for the UK to host. It was really, really good. Took a lot of organising and a lot of hard work from people behind the scenes. So firstly, thanks very much to them and our supporters for supporting the event. Legacy, looking on from YOTA, we've got a youth committee and we were part of the driving force behind organising YOTA. The youth committee got our monthly meetings that we're getting together. What we're looking at doing is sort of scaling back YOTA, and now we've looked at our members and how we can support our members, we're going to start looking out and looking how we can support the people who aren't radio amateurs yet. We're trying to move away from the just sitting behind a radio, making contact with people on the air, and going more towards the wireless technology, all of that sort of technical side of things, the building, the ARDF, the SOTA, the fun stuff that young people really, really, really enjoy, and getting rid of the stigma of amateur radio is an old bloke with a moustache behind a radio, because that is not what the hobby is. There's so much more, and I think it's showing young people through the likes of maker fairs, hack fests and that sort of stuff that there is much more to amateur radio than sitting behind a radio. So our plan next is to start going to these events, showing them what amateur radio is all about and embracing wireless technology for what it is.
Sounds fantastic, because that's exactly the way we're going to grow the hobby for the young side of things, is to introduce them to the hobby on a broad scale and what they can really do with it, rather than it just, as say, being just stuck behind the radio for now. Obviously, I'm looking forward to South Africa as well. What are you hoping that our friends in South Africa are going to put on for next year for us?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm going to be going, which will be fantastic, but first and foremost, good weather. We don't get in the UK a lot. I say that, and it's sunshine here, although the forecast did forecast rain and thunderstorms, which we haven't had. I've evidently come prepared for the sun. By the looks of the video there, the South Africans are going to be putting on an absolutely fantastic week. As well as the side of amateur radio, which is fantastic, there's that cultural side, which I think is really, really important. So we're going to be able to go over, see their culture, go on a safari and stuff, which will be really, really, really interesting. So yeah, much like the UK's event, I think they're going to be putting on practical demonstrations, talks, and really, really doing the hands-on side of radio, the thing that young people love. And speaking to the organisers a while ago, they've got at least 20 young people who are going to South Africa that have never done amateur radio before and don't have a radio licence. So that's going to be really, really interesting, getting brand new people into the hobby through the likes of YOTA.
Keep your amateur ham radio podcast advert free by donating less than a length of coax. Visit www.icqpodcast.com/donate now. For all the news, links and information, visit www.icqpodcast.com.
While walking the floor, the guys came across Sterling N0SSC, and Sterling had a long chat with Chris Howard regarding youth operation in the USA. So I hope you enjoy.
So we're joined by Sterling, N0SSC. So Sterling, I believe you're the YOTA representative for the American region, is that right?
Yeah, I went to YOTA in 2016, and I'm here in Friedrichshafen to kind of meet the people I met 2 years ago and get more ideas on how to promote young hams in amateur radio, especially through YOTA, youngsters on the air camp. That's
cool. So yesterday we saw the handover of the key from the UK to South Africa. So are you going to be going to South Africa?
I won't be in South Africa. I'm 26, so I'm aged out. I think their minimum age is around 26, 27 or so, but I don't have enough vacation time for it, unfortunately. But, I'm here now, and what I'm really here for is that kind of inspiration, because I go for a while, and I've got a wedding to plan and a house to buy, and then I kind of forget, my core passion here is, youth and the hobby, and I need to come to these things to get more inspiration and that sort of thing, to keep the fire, keep the torch running.
So you've gone from sort of being a participant in this, actually almost like leading it and running it and getting ideas and starting. So what ideas, what things are happening in the States and around some of the youth to get into the hobby?
So right now in the States, it's very decentralized. There's a lot of smaller clubs. For example, South Africa has the Hammies. And they've brought Yoda there, and they're starting to coalesce into a larger group of youngsters. In the U.S., we have the Yacht, the Youngsters Amateur Communications Ham Team. I've probably buggered that up, but there's the Boulder Amateur Radio Junior, Boulder Amateur Radio Club in Denver, near Denver, Colorado, has a small club. There's the YARC, the Young Amateurs Communication Team, or the Young Amateurs Ham Team, which just started on Discord, which is actually a chat for gamers. And so it's a lot of hams who are also gamers who use this chat platform just to communicate. There's a voice chat platform. 300 people showed up within a few months of that. But they're all over the place, and kind of the idea we're pitching is to start having these camps that get some of the, hams and non-hams together in a camp so that, we can start to realize and promote the hobby to young people and realize that there are a lot of youth actually out there. Like you walk around Dayton, Hamvention, and they're all over the place. Like Dark has a soldering booth here. Dayton Hamvention had a soldering booth with dozens of hams. There was dozens, like the youth forum that goes for 3 hours, and all of the younger hams get about $1,000 worth of equipment that they're loaded down with. And that's all happening, but there's no centralized kind of organization or structure, and I think that would be really beneficial to promote and get more young people involved.
Yeah, so you're calling on the sort of bodies to try and do that, maybe a bit more organised, but perhaps the ARRL, for example, is anything happening there at all?
At the ARRL level?
Yeah.
We've gone to them a few times, and it's been, I think they're involved in a lot more things to focus on their, I guess, core competencies. And it's just kind of a moving battle, of dealing with the older generation who's used to doing QST and books and stuff, and so we repeatedly push them and prod them, and then now they're starting to really open up. For example, Collegiate Amateur Radio Initiative was started a few years ago, and that started between Sam Rose, KC2LRC, and I had a Facebook page between the colleges, and we promoted Collegiate Amateur Radio, which a lot of colleges have radio clubs. And now it's got 300-400 people, and 30-ish colleges are joining. They run skeds. They've been thinking about doing more chess over the air, or even strategy games over the air. And then the ARRL, they got a grant from an Ivy League institution, or Ivy League person, I forget his name, W1 something, to start promoting and giving materials out and scholarships and that sort of stuff. So it's kind of we got to start from the ground up. Once they see we're super active, the ARRL and other leagues, the IREU will realize, this is got a strong foundation. They don't have to do much work other than to support it, and their best thing to do is fundraising. They know how to get the money and get more people involved and more, members interested in this and helping this sort of thing,
So the Yota camps have happened in the UK and I think previously in Austria and now going to South Africa. As that's a Region 1 thing, isn't it? Is there anything happening at all? Is anyone from the States, for example? I know you went to one a couple of years ago. Is anything happening to get more people involved from your region?
Not really. That's what we're trying to do. There have been, so we do have the Youth DX Association or Youth DX Adventure. They take a group of maybe 15 young hams between the ages of 15, more like 13 and 20, to PJ2T in Curacao or Aruba. I forget their call sign. And they act as DX during a big competition, and that gets a few people really involved. But there hasn't been really any ham camps like we've had here in Region 1. Region 3 in the Asias are also Japan and the Philippines. Japan being a super, there's way more hams there than anywhere. They're also really heavily interested in it as well, thanks to the Region 1's promotion and activity over here.
Yeah, because we were chatting yesterday to Mike Jones, who's the UK representative for Yota, and he was saying that a big part of the event for them in the UK was actually not, obviously radio was a big part, it was also around the cultural things, so actually learning about different cultures, and everyone brought along things from their own country to sort of share with the group, and that's I think another benefit. And if we got more used together to do that, I think that is a very beneficial thing.
Yeah, it's not just ham radio. There's the international night is a pivotal part of Yoda camps. You get to realize and understand the other I guess member societies, what their cultures are. They bring in food, drink, dress, and they all have tons and tons of fun. In the Americas and the Latin America, we foresee kind of a similar thing. It is kind of a struggle because it seems to me, at least, that the IRU Region 2 and the ARRL and the different member societies are a bit more separated than iRegion 1. It seems like over here they're very well connected, and I can see in the future bringing them together and then bringing our cultures together. When we start in the U.S., it might be mostly American, so there's a little bit less of the culture trick, but like we also plan to invite a lot of the Region 1 people in, because when we start, we don't know what we're doing, and we need people who know what they're doing, right? Who've been there, done that, and be a mentor and an elmer to to us, the organizers, and then to the other young hams.
I suppose events like today, where you got together, I think you've had a meeting today, I think, with some of the other countries, and I think that's, again, is a good way of sharing that sort of that knowledge and experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So the youth meeting today was kind of a State of the Union sort of thing, State of the Amateur Radio Union in terms of youth. Lisa Linders kind of gave a report, and then Koos Vik from the ZA from South Africa also gave a report, kind of a here's what we're going to do sort of thing. And it was really nice to see, like like we said, the transference of the key. I didn't go to UK, but I saw like all the videos and stuff, and that kept the inspiration up. And it's just like, it's a great transfer of ideas. And a new thing this year with the South Africa camp is the idea of training the trainers, where, I mean, the whole point of Yoda was to get these mostly hams who are already like young people who are already hams, to the local club and, deliver these experiences with the presentation, and then inspire that local club to be more involved in youth. So in St. Louis, Missouri, where I'm from, they have a youth committee, they have classes, ham jams, they have, very open field day. And, it boils down to, that's how I got involved, is field day, the big, event here in the end of June where everybody gets on the air. You have get on the air stations and things like that. And I've personally been doing like a lot of Skype calls with local clubs, like between, from North Carolina all the way up to Washington State, of like how to get more youth involved, because that's like a concern. People are very like worried. They see the bubble of like 60s, 70-year-old hams, and they're like, okay, now we need to really focus on young people.
To refresh the people coming into the hobby and sort of get people to get involved. So you mentioned the gutters. I know Dan Romanchek, one of our other correspondents, he often works the gutter station when they have these events, and he says it's quite very popular and is a good way to get people into the hobby. So Sterling, we could talk all day, but it's been great chatting, and have a great event.
All right, I will do. I'll be here till Sunday, just walking around. I probably won't buy anything. I'm just here for the hellos and the ideas and the knowledge transfer, and it's been really fun. It's I want to come here next year because it's a whole new experience compared to Hamvention and Dayton, where your toes get run over by scooter rounds, and it always rains, and you're outside, and it's super cramped and hot. But this is a whole nother level, and I'd really love to see this kind of echelon of a radio thing come over to the U.S. But, we've got something pretty good. 29,000 hams in one place, you see a lot of things.
That's a lot of hams in one place. Yeah. Not quite as many as here, but that's great. Sterling, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, when you're wandering around these shows, sometimes the ARRL is there. And if you ever get to meet the guy, Bob Inabitson, really nice gentleman, and the team and I have met up with him many, many times. Bob's call sign, NQ1R. He managed to give Colin an interview regarding the funding in amateur radio that the ARRL are doing for colleges and universities. So quite very, very interesting, and I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, we're here with Bob, NQ1R from the ARRL. Bob, great to be here again and chatting to you. And we've just been talking about a theme really we're finding this weekend, which is bringing new amateurs on the air, be in the teenage years or in the colleges, etc. And there's work the ARRL are doing in the States to help promote this.
Yeah, one of the most exciting programs that we're involved in right now is called the ARRL Collegiate Amateur Radio Initiative. It's providing a space for college and university radio clubs, not just in the United States, but around the world. It's providing a space for them to network with one another. The Collegiate Amateur Radio Facebook page is extremely popular right now, and it's a place where colleges and universities are exchanging ideas on what it takes to sustain and support college radio club. In some respects, the space that we've created has created a renaissance among radio clubs right now at universities.
And roughly, how many colleges are actually involved in the program or submitted into the program to bring more amateurs on the air?
Yeah, it's many hundreds right now. And what's interesting is the Collegiate Amateur Radio Facebook page maintains a list of colleges and universities that are participating. And there are a lot of them. It's many hundreds at this point.
And any idea yet of how many amateurs this may be bringing into the hobby, obviously, at that young age group?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but what's interesting is that for many years, we've sort of focused very deliberately on elementary school and very young children. Now, amateur radio requires some knowledge of technology and math and a little bit of education in order to do it. I think it's interesting that over here in Germany, the focus on young radio amateurs is 27 and younger, and in the United States, we're starting to rethink what younger means also. Isn't it okay to have lots more radio amateurs who are 20, 30, 40 years old coming into amateur radio? University is a fantastic place to plant seeds. They can be very active in their radio clubs, but then busy lives and first careers sometimes means ham radio takes a back seat. They come back a few years later when they've established families and their vocation. And I'm excited that in the United States right now we're seeing roughly 30,000 new licensees every year. Now that's just enough to overcome attrition of those radio amateurs we lose. But wouldn't it be great to not have 30,000 new, but 40,000 new a year? So that would really cause amateur radio to grow significantly in the U.S.
And as you say, it's the starting point. As you say, if you need 30,000 plus just to keep up the numbers, if you like, as you say, you've got to look at a different age group of you to bring those people through. And there's so many now different hobbies that relate into electronics and the radio, etc. As you say, that age group's a fantastic age group to get involved in, isn't it?
Yeah, and college students are often looking for some sort of extracurricular activity to participate in. Universities are an exciting source of funding for student activities. We see radio club presidents writing grant proposals to their student activities boards to get money for towers and amplifiers and radios, and just like the chess club or the track club or the lens and lights club, the college radio clubs find a source of funding at their universities, and they often bring great publicity and media to their universities. For instance, a number of the radio clubs in New England will sponsor ham radio operators at the Boston Marathon to help provide race communications. Now that brings super publicity to the university when they can say their students volunteered at the Boston Marathon.
No, fantastic. So if we got listeners who either are working in a college or studying at a college or university, etc., they want to get involved in this and find out how they can get some funding and help from the AWL, who do they get in contact with?
Yeah, I think they should do two things. They should visit the ARRL Collegiate Amateur Radio Initiative Facebook page. Very easy to find. Just type in ARL Collegiate Amateur Radio and you'll find it online. We also have a website where there's some resources for colleges, universities, and mentors. Colleges and universities involve students, mentors, advisors, faculty, administration. Sometimes the plant service guy or woman there is the advisor for a radio club. Visit www.arrl.org/we-want-you, as in university.
Fantastic, great domain name there. Well, hopefully people hear this and realise they can get involved, and it'd be great to help get those numbers up even higher, because that 30,000 is impressive, but wouldn't it be great to get 40, 50, 60,000? Fantastic.
Yes.
Bob, many thanks, and enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice to see you here.
Cheers, Bob. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this special episode, showcasing some of the youth radio opportunities being showcased at Ham Radio 2018. We would advise you to obviously check out the YouTube videos that we created. Go to youtube.com/ICQ podcast. Subscribe while you're there so you get up to date with the videos we're producing at the moment from the Ham Radio 2018 show. And as I say, we just get a flavour of what's going on there. Might whet your appetite for visiting next year. Well, Dad, service will be resumed as normal next week, where we're back there to our normal type of show. But as I say, hopefully everyone's there getting a good flavour of what was going on there at Ham Radio 2018 this year.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys really enjoyed yourself. I know that a lot of people asked after various of the presenters, and the guys that were out there, you thoroughly enjoyed yourself. So in essence, it was a good show. Hopefully we've brought you some interesting content. So, hopefully I'll go another year, Colin.
Yeah, I even got grief for not getting my senior harmonic an orange T-shirt. You know, you have to be a fully fledged member of the team to wear an orange t-shirt. We don't give them to interns. You know, we're very, very strict. So there you go. Well, guys, as always, keep up to date with this new way. The Facebook group, the website, ICQpodcast.com. I mentioned the YouTube channel as well. Subscribe away, guys. Keep up to date what we're doing in the meantime. And more importantly, you know, because it's a show-off episode, I think this one, maybe you should get Mum to make you a cup of tea and find you a chocolate biscuit this time.
But there's two things wrong with that. A, I'm here and I have the kettle, so I'll be making the tea. And B, I don't eat biscuits. So, yeah, I have a weight problem, but that's not the reason I don't eat cakes, biscuits, sweets, and all those sort of things. But never mind, Colin. And one other thing. I bet you don't take the orange T-shirt off your mum.
Yeah, good point. She can keep one. Listen, right, guys, we'll be back next week with a normal show. Episode 270 will be back next week. So we'll catch you all then. 73 is all.
Yeah, 73.